I am arriving in the rain at Shawn James's cabin, and today we're going to be putting some bark on the Longhouse and finishing off the exterior, so it's an exciting day. How's it going, guys? That is quite the sauna Shawn's building there. And it is dumping rain, and it is putting a serious dent in our day today. We were wanting to finish putting bark on the Longhouse today, and a lot of the bark is dry because it's been a while since we've been at it. And maybe the rain will help us a little bit. I'm starting to get antsy because I want to get some work done on this thing. You know, we all don't mind working in the rain because we're tough as nails. But, you know, I didn't bring a second pair of pants, and, you know, I hate when my snuggly pants get wet. I've mentioned that several times in previous videos. But more so, we don't like when our expensive camera gear gets soaking wet, malfunctions, and breaks. You know, you can actually get electrocuted from that, I've heard. So our camera. That's not true. You can't really get electrocuted. But basically, yeah. So we've been just hanging out in Shawn's outdoor kitchen here, just basically trading stories. And Shawn was in Alaska. I was in the Yukon. It's going to be a lot of trial and error a little bit. None of us has ever built a Longhouse before. It's not something most people do. So working with these natural materials has some unknowns and some challenges. But you never kind of figure things out until you go and you try, and for the most part things have been working out really well for us, so hopefully that's the case again today. Anyways, first comes first. First we feast. Thank you. Very concise. Yeah, this bark really curled up more, and the places where we didn't tie it down properly is curled up. So some of it we just curled down, some of it we only tied down one side and the other side's curled in. So we're gonna have to basically redo the last third of the wall, or at least that section there. It's not that bad though. Bring bug spray like an idiot. Bella's here this time. Hey, Bells.
Yeah, what's up?
Okay, so we are exploring the bark here that we left in the woods. The stuff on the Longhouse is curled significantly. A lot of it has, which is too bad because it's dry. But this here still seems pliable. So I think some of it we're going to use. Okay, so we're gonna haul all this bark back. Unfortunately, we might not really get as much done as we were hoping, just with the really bad weather we had and with the state of some of the bark. But it's gonna put us one step closer to being finished. So long trek back to the Longhouse from where we harvested this bark. So we got our work cut out for us now. And the bugs have come out to feast on us. Whatever's too dry, as long as it's flat and hasn't curled, we can use it for the walls, and the stuff that's still pliable we'll use for the roof. But yeah, the stuff we hung on the Longhouse itself, we completed one wall, but we didn't lash all of it down properly, and it started to dry and curl. Looks like we have created some epic salamander habitat, because every single piece we lift up, there are multiple salamanders. What is there, 5 under this piece?
Oh yeah, 2 of them scurried off too.
Cool. Well, Bella, do not try to eat the salamanders. Look how fast they are. Holy smokes. There you go. Trying to catch a mouse? So you learn what things must have been like for people that relied on these things as shelter, and you kind of learn a lot of other things that develop out of these kind of smaller things, which is pretty cool. So we're gonna just, I guess, try to work with what we have here, and hopefully it turns out all right. It's amazing how strong this ash bark material is. So yeah, hopefully it works out. Let's see. That's pretty. Okay. Oh, that's awesome. You're good. Sure. Okay. I'm a doer. Something my mom would say. You and Teddy are just doers. Get the job done. The whole thing was nailed.
What are you doing?
I don't know, but it's not easy.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
I'm trying to hold it such a way.
It really is. Turn the cameras off.
Amongst the crew.
Let him stop clowning around. We'll turn them back on.
Yeah, Ted's just standing there while I'm breaking my back, making fun of me. See, now Doug made fun of Ted, and now Ted's making fun of me. It's a vicious circle, guys. Hey, this one has a split in it. Is that okay or no?
We'll have to make do.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna be.
We can't be too fussy. And
Yeah.
we'll have to patch it.
We can do like a board and batten style patch, maybe with some of the thinner pieces.
Well, we wouldn't call it board and batten.
A board and batten Longhouse.
Yeah.
Here, let me just hold that.
Yeah, no problem.
Sure. Thanks. Thanks, Shawn.
No problem.
Jeff, get the freaking bark up there.
Thanks, Shawn. Okay. All right, buddy. There. Hey, little fella.
Why did you give us so much split in it?
I don't know.
Jam.
It's just the one that was there, you know?
It's gotta go.
Ready the first time I asked you.
Oh boy. These are heavy though, eh?
Yeah.
When you're sliding them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty heavy.
Yeah, and you can come over that way.
Not the wrong tree. Oh, pretty wet. A soggy one.
We almost got.
God, this is just like a salamander orgy over here.
I can't believe, like, this is like a secret to trapping salamanders.
Yeah, salamander secret.
Like some bark.
And here's a piece of bark if I ever saw one.
From that big one, eh?
I think I got this one myself when you guys weren't here.
I think I got this one.
Oh, it's finished. Yeah. That's sorry.
So the roof is coming along really nicely. It turns out the bark was damp enough that it could kind of bend over the curvature of the roof, which is awesome, and this thing is looking really waterproof. We're also learning how much bark it really takes to close an entire longhouse, and if you could imagine, some of these things traditionally were 300 feet long. The amount of work to go out and get that bark at that time as well. They'd be probably clearing land for agricultural purposes, so everybody would kind of work together to get bark, but it's no easy process. You got to haul, and you need the right kind of bark, and you got to do a lot of work to get it all and build it. So it's a big job, but this is looking awesome.
Okay, get your camera out of my shot, you asshole.
Okay.
Wrong move. Super hot?
Isn't that? Yeah. I wonder. I'd want to do a bit of research, so I just didn't blow it. Yeah, but
Goes barbecue. Keep that heat. Look how long it took to cook those turkeys.
You were down there by the thorn trees. I said, how did you see?
Yeah, that's the whole thing about a
Either or.
push. Yeah, exactly.
Either or, the deer runs through, you're shooting at each other.
I know.
I'm like, this
Or, even if it comes
It's
running
good.
back through the line, you're
really
shooting
tender.
Lots of logs down there. That would be handy up by the
Thanks.
eggy wags. Laid these myself.
No, I'm not.
I had the one. It actually got a lot of likes, but I didn't make it my logo.
He said to me, you made it for me. I said, yeah, that's real cool, man. Yeah. There's no reason you can't do that.
Doing similar stuff.
Done because I figured you guys had all eaten it. That's kind of played out at this point, you know?
Yeah, we already put this wall
You
up.
can, now you can make a whole.
There's 4 eggs there if anybody wants to grab one.
I'm going to keep.
You might be bastard. There you go.
Can you push that up a little bit, Shawn, and get that under a bit?
Up here?
Yeah. The very top.
Like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say do it like this.
You smell like a hyena.
That's why I'm up here. I got away from him.
How could it possibly smell that bad? I showered before I came here yesterday.
Probably your shirt. My shirt was clean.
So we have a beautiful day today, and yesterday we were feeling a little down because it was hammering rain. We were worried our cameras would get soaked. We couldn't start working till later, and we were really worried about what kind of state the bark would be in. Well, it turned out that rain yesterday actually helped us because that dry bark was moistened enough that it was pliable and we could bend it over the roof. So it turned out to be a blessing in disguise, and we're able to get almost half of the barking done on this. There's Doug and Shawn hamming it up back there. And it's very, very challenging to peel bark off trees now that we're later into the summer, and we can't really do it. So we're going to get as much bark on as we can, and we're probably going to have to hold off into the spring to completely cover this thing, but we're going to have enough that it's going to work as a shelter and we can start doing some of the interior work. Anyways, looks pretty awesome, I think.
But let's get a sliver up to the side.
So, what should we talk about here? I can think about a couple beard disses for Doug, that's about it. Just kidding. It's a good beard.
So the dogs did everything.
Callie, here.
Yeah.
Callie, here. Sit. Well, we're going to wrap today up. This is our 3rd weekend here at the Longhouse, working away at it. You'll notice that most of it's still unfinished behind us here. The bark ran out. We got that side done, we got the roof done, so it's actually a shelter. And unfortunately, it's probably going to stay this way all winter. We can actually sleep in it, and we're still going to come back next time and build our bunks and do that, and probably have an overnighter in the next video, Longhouse video.
Yeah, might be a little drafty, but
A little drafty,
let's
but
keep us dry.
well, we're used to sleeping under tarps and stuff anyway.
Yeah,
So I'm satisfied. There's probably still enough ash trees around the property here that we can harvest once the sap starts running again next June or July. So it's going to stay like this for the winter. We're still going to do stuff in it. I'm satisfied, like I said. We got as far as we could with the resources that we had, and we had no idea how long and how much bark it was going to take.
At this time of year, the bark is nearly impossible to peel off the trees. So really, there's nothing more we can do in that realm because we need that early summer and spring sap run to make the bark pliable enough to get off the trees. So even if we wanted to continue harvesting bark, we really couldn't do it at this point.
I think we've done pretty good. Part of this is a learning experience for us, and we didn't know how far we'd get or what materials you have, and you kind of learn along the way, and we've learned a lot, and we've gotten better at it, and I'm pretty impressed. And this thing will keep the rain off of us, so I'm looking forward to building our bunks and spending a night in here, even though it's not fully enclosed. It's an awesome shelter, and the scale of this thing is maybe hard to tell, but this is a huge structure and this was a big job, so I think we're all feeling pretty good about it. It
looks really cool, like the roof and the way that the bark fit over it, and just how it looks is, I'm pretty happy with what we managed to get done.
What do you think, Doug?
I think when you're starting a project like this in the future, it'd be better to know the people that you're working with, and if you want to continue in the long, to finish the project, because some guys turn out to be real duds. And just kidding.
Always the wisecrack.
No, we done good. We did what we could, and it looks great. It's so hard to get a perspective of how much bark is actually on that already.
Yeah.
Like just by putting the top on it, it really gave you that ceiling that you didn't have. Like before, it was looking to the clouds, and then it's like now it's a tall, big structure. So.
Yeah, it sure is. And the amount of trees that we went through, just a reminder that the ash trees that we got this bark from were dying or dead anyway, or just about dead. And the rest of the ash trees on my land here are just about to die as well. So hopefully they're not at that point, I don't think, where they're not going to try to leaf out next year. So we'll get that sap running and get that bark off them before they perish completely. So I think we have enough trees, but they were going to die anyway. I've got all these logs, or we have all these logs. If I can get somebody to help me pull them up here or to a spot where we can use them for something. Incredible lumber, like beautiful straight long logs, some of those, in huge diameter, like 2 feet, some of them. So
it kind of maybe even make some crafts like Doug had taught us about, pounding the ash, and
that was pretty cool.
If it stays green enough.
It really brings it into perspective how much work it is to build one of these. Imagine a 300-foot long one, or more. How much bark you need, how much materials. It's not just the building; it's the sourcing of all the natural materials, right? And learning how to work with them. It's actually, I kind of learned a lot more than I thought I was going to from the project, which has been pretty cool.
Oh, and to say right off too, to do it again, bark comes off the tree, straight on the Longhouse. No laying it, no nothing, just off the tree on the Longhouse.
If we had taken a week off, all of us, 5 days maybe, well, probably a week, because the first weekend we worked a good solid 2 days. But I would say 5, 6, 7 days straight we would have had this thing knocked off and in better condition than it is, and with easier bark to work with, and flatter and smoother, more pliable.
I think a good lesson too is that this type of project was done as a community, and a lot of what we do now is so individual, and you do your own thing, but everybody came together in these communities and did it as a group, and that's why they were so successful at what they did, because they all worked together. And this is an excellent example of that. If you tried to do this by yourself, it
pretty much impossible.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
but you might be happy.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, if you were actually, of course, trying to survive and live that way,
an improvement in the work pace.
So it's
I'd feel a little bit better in the morning.
That's true.
Not so many pops around the fire. Well, awesome, guys. I'm looking forward to the next steps of this thing. I've got a few ideas on the bunk and some of the things that I want to build in there. So
make sure you tune into the next episode of this. Maybe, hopefully, it's September, October, latest probably. We're going to individualize our bunks inside, so we're each doing our own space, our own private family space, essentially, in each of our areas, and we're going to customize those personally. So I'm looking forward to seeing what all these guys have, what the ideas they have for their own, and coming up with some unique ideas for my own space in here.
Doug's going to probably carve gnomes at the top of each one of his bedposts and outdo us.
He's going to carve each of us.
I'm probably going to buy a prefab kit from IKEA.
No, I'll probably use smaller trees.
All right. Well, I'm pretty happy about this, man. This looks really cool.
Yeah. All right. So see everybody back here at the cabin for my continuation of what I normally do here. But again, keep an eye out for Longhouse episode 4, I guess it'll be. And we have a pretty cool, epic meal plan for that one as well. So tune into that. There's a playlist if you want to watch the whole Longhouse series. And as always, I look forward to seeing you back at the cabin next time. So take care.
Follow Jim Baird Adventure on YouTube. All right, guys. High five.
All right.
All right.
No, you leave me hanging?
There you go.
The whole thing was uncomfortable from the beginning as soon as you said high five.